What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the 515 Sports Podcast here on the 515 Podcast Network. I am your host, Brock Bierman, alongside, as always, with my boy Chase Winterboard. Took a couple weeks off. I don't think we met 2 weeks ago. I can't remember for sure. I know I was sick like a month, 3 weeks ago or something like that. Struggled to get a show in for that because I couldn't talk. And then last week I was on vacation. I was in Chicago, so we weren't able to do a show then. And then now I'm sick, but I'm sick again.
Brock is still sick. Yes,
we're fighting through it. I can talk now. Might have to have Chase fill in a lot more in terms of his opinions, which is great. I mean, it's basketball season, so we can talk a little bit of hoops. But Chase, how are you doing, my friend?
pretty good, man. Back-to-back nights recording podcasts. It was good getting the hardwood convos in last night with the fellas. Kind of catching up. I know it's been a little bit here, so we got a lot to talk about, I feel like, tonight. So a lot that's going on as well, man. Loving basketball being back. Best time of the year, man. But yeah, it's been going well, dude. How have you been besides being sick?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm breathing. That's all that matters,
That's
I guess,
all
at
that
this point. Last week was very fun / just chaotic of going to Chicago Wednesday and Thursday, working Friday, and then going to Kansas City for just barbecue, nothing else.
Just barbecue, that's right.
Just the only reason that we went down to Kansas City. A lot of miles traveled. I think it was over, I don't even know. It was well over 600, 800 miles or something like that traveled over the past week.
Wait, did you take your new car, by the way?
Oh, we did the Kansas City first.
Oh, you did? Nice, nice. Yes, Brock got a new car, by the way, everyone. If you do not know, he's been driving that.
Yeah, for those that don't know about my car situation, the 1999 Honda Accord is no longer a thing. I got a 2024 Honda Accord because I'm loyal to my Honda Accords with how long that one lasted me and all the crap that I put it through. I'm still learning all the buttons. I learned that it tells you when you've been driving for too long and you need to take a break, because I learned that last weekend on my way to Kansas City. It started throwing up this like coffee emoji saying like driver attention is low. And I'm like, I'm not even swerving. I'm literally like
no swerving.
I was like, I'm so confused. I looked at Sarah and she was like, I don't know what that is. I was like, I don't either.
So you just pulled over or what?
No, well, I mean, I had to get gas anyways, but the second time it happened, I was just like, nah, I'm nah.
No, we go. We ball it, yeah.
We going. We having no stops. On the way home, we did not stop.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit, man. I don't blame you.
Which actually worked perfectly because right off of the exit close to her apartment is Raising Cane's, man. So we pulled in, got some canes, filled up the car, and went back to her apartment and watched some football then. I tell you what, though, Friday night was the weirdest thing because I fell asleep watching the snooze fest of the Iowa UCLA game.
Oh, yeah.
I woke up, and when I fell asleep, everybody was still in the living room. When I woke up, nobody was there. It was just me. The game was still on, and Brendan Sullivan wasn't playing quarterback. When I say I was like legit, and I've had like I've had dreams that I know I'm dreaming, and I've had sleep paralysis, all this stuff. So like I was like, am I legit dreaming right now? I was so confused what was going on, and then I got a text from Sarah saying that she already went up to her room, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch the rest of this Iowa game because I want to know why Brendan Sullivan's not playing. Scrolling through Twitter, and everybody's like, the Brendan Sullivan experiment's dead, and I'm like, what did I miss? I missed literally a quarter and a half, and all of a sudden the world's ending for the University of Iowa. Which, I mean, I'm not complaining, but like, what happened?
Yeah, what happened? Yeah. He, I don't think he realizes that like he's a quarterback, and he thinks he's like Marshawn Lynch, and he just can't take a hit like that. So, that's all you need to know, bro.
I was so out of it. Like, have you ever woken up and you're like just lost? Like, you have no idea where you're at and like what day it is. That's what it felt like for me.
Okay, I'm not sure I have. I'm a little concerned about you, but
that means I probably actually had a good hour and a half of actual sleep for once.
True, you probably did, yeah.
But and then I was like, oh shoot, I need to still buy tickets for the barbecue that we went to go see down in Kansas City. Not anything else, just the barbecue, because you know you need to get tickets to go see barbecue.
That's right, dude.
But I got on my phone at like 11 o'clock at night and like just bought the tickets. And I was like, hopefully I bought enough. Because again, I was still halfway like asleep when I was doing this.
Yeah, you were.
And then I wake up the next morning and your boy Brent Bloom posted a thing with the code for cheaper tickets. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
No, dude.
I will never forgive. Like, Kansas football is on the level of Baylor basketball for me of hatred. You know how much I don't like Baylor basketball or Baylor in general because of last weekend. They put a code that gave people cheaper tickets but didn't want Iowa State fans to know about it. And so many of people like me got screwed out of cheaper tickets. And it's whatever. It doesn't hurt me like that much. It was like a couple extra dollars, but it was just like, really?
Yeah, if you want to be that way, for sure. I mean, I hate football though too, so I just
But no, on our way back, the easiest traffic ever getting out of the game, because I will admit,
that's good.
And for those that are wondering why I was actually in Kansas City, I went to the Iowa State Kansas game.
No, you weren't.
I'm sad to admit that I did this because you know me, I never do this. That shows you how bad of a game it was, though. I did leave before the game ended.
Don't worry.
It was they missed the field goal, and I was like, okay. It was getting cold. I'm not gonna lie, because we were in the upper deck, and the sun finally got over the stadium. And I was like, okay. I looked at them. I looked at Sarah. I was like, let's just get through this. Let's just see what happens on this drive, and then we can decide. Not even like 2 plays later, Rocco throws a pick six, and we're like, okay, we're out of here.
We're out of here. Yeah. No.
Quickest that we've ever been, because somehow we went around like this loop-de-loop to find a parking spot for like 30 minutes. Fortunately, we parked literally right outside our gate and where we were sitting. So we got in the car, and like the parking lot was like already relatively empty. It was empty when we got there too. So we literally got on the interstate like within like 10 minutes. It was the easiest it was ever. Like, it was easier than like Paul Rhodes era of getting out of tailgate lots.
Paul Rhodes, yeah. Wow. Hey, there's a positive though. Always a positive in everything, right?
Yeah. Oh well, and then everybody knows me. I'm not necessarily the greatest person to be driving in terms of like, as long as I got music on, I'm fine. But you know, I can get a little sleepy when I'm driving. But I've never fallen asleep behind the wheel.
Never.
Shout out Sarah for literally giving me play-by-play of the Baylor. Who were they playing in basketball? Baylor Arkansas game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Good.
She was watching it. Actually. She was watching it on my phone, and we had the audio on the Apple CarPlay thing or whatever. But she was giving me play-by-play because she's the announcer suck. Which, I mean, respect to her for. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to watch a ESPN or listen to an ESPN broadcast because it's not made for radio. But no, she came in clutch and literally gave me play-by-play on that. It was great.
Thank you, Sarah.
Shout out.
Sarah.
But let's get into actually talking a little bit about what happened this week in college football. Honestly, I don't know if we're going to be talking a lot about the scores as more as we're going to be talking about, you know, some of the interesting headlines or just interesting things that have been happening in the college football world. We'll also touch a little bit on college basketball before the night is over, or I guess we're recording here on a Wednesday night. This will be posted with Friday morning, so not necessarily the night is over. But let's react quickly to the college football top 25. I think this is, I got to confirm, honestly, because I can't remember if I grabbed the wrong rankings or not. So if it is, I will get rid of this. But this is the top 25. It looks like it is.
That looks right, Brock.
Accurate for, yep. So that is the college football playoff top 25. And Oregon's still at number one. Obviously, one of the last undefeated teams in college football, the one that has been at the top 10 from the start. So pretty much no shocker that they're going to remain at the number one spot. Ohio State at 2, Texas at 3. And then it gets interesting with Penn State at 4, who has a loss against Ohio State. But right below them is undefeated Indiana, who finally cracks the top 5. But I feel like you can make the argument that they're still not getting the respect that they deserve.
Yeah. I mean, you could say the same thing about BYU too. I mean,
BYU's right below them.
They have not lost a game yet, but why is Penn State? Or I could not tell you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something, Brock?
Oh, I was just going to round up the top 12. Notre
No,
Dame
yeah.
at 8, Miami at 9 after having a brutal loss against Georgia Tech. I don't think anyone was seeing that coming.
I did at some point. Sorry,
Oh,
Brock.
really?
Yeah, I'm not a
Oh, I
mother's
was talking
small
about
fan.
that loss against Georgia
Oh,
Tech
against Georgia
specifically.
Tech, sure. Yeah, that's true. That's
I
very
mean,
true.
you look at it, and they've had a track record of sneaking out some victories against some teams that may not be as impressive on the schedule.
Yeah.
But it finally caught up to them. They come out with their first loss of the year. Alabama at 10 at 7-2. Ohio. Oh, the sick. Can't do English. Ole Miss 8-2. They jump up 5 spots after the big win against Georgia, who is right behind them at 12, who drops 9 spots.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big drop for Georgia, who lost to Ole Miss.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it might also be because they have 2 losses.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I kind of feel bad for like the SMUs of the world, or like I don't know, even like Washington State. But I also get like they don't play the competition, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting. I don't know if you've been paying attention to ESPN recently, but they have started talking about the hypothetical situation of a 3-loss SEC team to make the college football playoff.
Oh, what a shocker! Oh, wow, we were all waiting for that one.
And
Huh?
we've been talking about this whole time that the college football playoff, I'm not taking any of these rankings necessarily as they are actually going to consider doing this.
No.
Because I still think it's a TV product, and the TV execs are going to want who they want in the playoff no matter what. So when the actual rankings come out, we'll see when this actually happens, if it follows through with this. I think that people will be surprised with how many SEC and Big Ten teams make it, because they want those big names over a Boise State team or an SMU team that probably deserves it.
Yeah. I know. I'm with you there, Brock. I don't know. If Boise State like seriously wins out and wins their
They're
conference,
in.
I would say they better be in. If they're not, like, I'll be having some beef. Even
Yeah.
like SMU, I mean, or who did they lose to?
They
that
lost to BYU, who was undefeated.
was undefeated. Yeah, and that was only a 3-point loss at
But
home.
no one cares.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
No one's talking about SMU.
literally no one is, dude. They look great, man. I mean, they absolutely pummeled Pitt, who was ranked. I know Pitt's kind of fallen off a little bit now, but I mean, they've looked great most of the year too.
You know how bad some of the biases are in college football? There are
Yeah.
more people talking about Clemson winning
Yeah.
the ACC than SMU. And SMU has 1 loss, and their 1 loss is to BYU. And Clemson has dropped 2 games and an embarrassing 34-3 loss against Georgia, and then a loss against Louisville a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, they didn't really play great at Virginia Tech either. Like I was watching some of that game, dude, and their offense looks really bad. I don't know though. I'm with you though. SMU is definitely not getting the respect that they deserve for sure.
And I think Missouri's head coach this week, or at some point, said that they still have a chance to make the college football playoff. And I'm like, bro, shut up.
He's
like,
a bum. Yeah.
Respectfully, like, shut up. You got South Carolina this week at Mississippi State a couple weeks from now, or I guess next week, and then the following week at home against Arkansas. Yeah, you can win those out. But no offense. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it 5, 6, 7 SEC teams over you right now in the top 25?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, have fun with that, bud. You go play some college football 25.
25, yeah.
On your Xbox.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that certain teams have been ranked in certain places. Penn State, I don't think, deserves to be in the top 5. They have established themselves as a team that can't win the close one or the big games.
Facts.
And so I feel like, respectfully, they probably should be around where Miami is. If anything, I think Alabama, I know they got 2 losses. I'd rank Alabama over Penn State.
I don't think that's a crazy thing to say after, especially the game they played against LSU for sure.
Yeah, Alabama. This is the one thing that I do agree on, is Alabama is better than what their record shows after what they did to LSU last weekend. there's going to be a lot of games over the next couple of weeks that are going to have heavy implications on the college football top 25 and the college football playoffs. I mean, the Big 12 is honestly a story that not many people are really talking about because, no one gives credit for how competitive of a conference it is, but it should be one that should be talked a lot more about because right now, BYU, K-State, Colorado, and Iowa State, I think, are the 4 teams that are really teams competing for a Big 12 championship appearance.
Yeah.
BYU is the front runner and is kind of running away with it. Colorado, I think, is second in terms of tiebreakers. I don't really know all the scenarios. K-State is probably the 4th team. Iowa State would be at that 3 spot. Right now, the Big 12 is probably only going to get 1 team into the playoff because of this situation. The only way I could see is if like BYU wins out and Colorado beats them. That's honestly the only way I could see where maybe 2 Big 12 teams make it. And that's because I feel like ESPN would love Colorado to be in the playoff, obviously. And if they win the Big 12 championship, they're in. And then it's going to be hard to be like, nah, BYU, you played really good. You beat SMU. If SMU finishes with 1 loss and it's only to BYU, like, how can you? I get that you put in the top 4 or top 5, whatever, college conference champions. If SMU is a conference champion and BYU only has 1 loss and they're the SMU's only loss, that's a tough situation for the playoff committee. But I'm just saying, keep an eye on the Big 12 because it's going to get messy, and I think it's going to be a fun conference to watch as the season progresses and finishes up here in the next couple of weeks.
For sure, Brock. I also Army is being snubbed. I just needed to mention that too.
I knew you were going to mention that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Undefeated, but yeah, okay. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's get into really a bigger. Speaking of the Big 12, a big storyline or a big headline in the Big 12 world. After a exciting, thrilling game between BYU and Utah, I think they call it the Holy War.
Yes.
I think that's what they call their rivalry matchup. The final score was, let me pull it up here, 22-21 after a game-winning field goal by BYU to beat Utah. And some controversy. Obviously, if you've been on social media, you've seen the play, you've seen the call of the hold against dying over here.
Flu game.
Yeah. Against Utah. And it didn't go in their favor as they ended up losing by 1. Bad calls happen.
Take over? Oh, okay.
No, I was just going to say, but I think that was actually a good call.
Yeah, no, it literally was. I mean, or what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, like I saw a few of the camera angles and like literally most of them, like you could obviously see like the cornerback was literally holding on to the guy. Like he literally grabs his jersey. So I literally don't know what Utah fans are complaining about.
Yeah, I am not sure what their situation was.
Yeah.
But Utah AD, I think his name is Mark Harlan. Is that his name?
I don't care what his name is. He's an idiot.
Yeah, Mark Harlan, AD of Utah, decided that he didn't want to wait or let his emotions get better of himself. Let's just put it at that.
Let's take a listen. Yeah.
This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight. Thank you.
The thank you at the end is
thank you
is the best part.
So polite.
So before I wanted to get too deep into like setting my opinions on this video when it came out, I had to remind myself that Jamie Pollard did at one point do a similar thing after during the Paul Rhodes era where he kind of attacked the officiating of the Big 12.
True.
But
let's
listen to the beginning of this real quick.
Years This game was absolutely stolen from us.
Not this part.
We were excited about being in Big 12, but
We were excited to be a part of the Big 12.
But now we're not.
You didn't even want to be in the Big 12.
Exactly. That is a lie, number one.
No. You know,
Don't even go there. Yeah. You
No.
didn't even want in.
you wanted to be in the Big 12 after every other conference that you wanted to join went, nah, we don't care about you.
We don't want you. Yeah. Yeah. Plus, also, I thought Utah was supposed to run the Big 12 this year. What happened to that? I'm so confused.
Their quarterback that has a 401k and is like 30 years old, like didn't get a play this year. No, Utah is now on my top 5, if not top 3, least favorite Big 12 teams.
Oh, heck yeah.
Them, Baylor, Kansas football, specifically Kansas football. Honestly, Kansas basketball doesn't bother me as much as it used to when I was
That's right,
little.
dude. We're Bill Self guys.
But this is just terrible, dude.
But tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us.
No,
Very
there was a hold.
disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner.
I bet you the commissioner went and you did not want to be here in the first place. So I don't know what you're talking about. Here's your, what was it, $400,000 or $4,000?
I think it's like a $40,000 fine.
40,000 and between 400,000 and 4,000, $40,000
we'll go
dollar fine.
I
hope that fine treats you well. You great person.
Yeah. Plus, I would like to mention too, Brock. How did you get the game stolen from you when you scored 0 points in the whole second half? Maybe try scoring some points, buddy. I will throw that out there too.
This is just terrible, dude.
12 years. This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in Big 12, but tonight I am not.
Tonight I am not.
We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner.
You act like you're
This
Texas,
is not
dude.
fair to
No, seriously.
our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating.
Professionalism. What they didn't like blatantly like look at you and be like, "Nah, we did this on purpose." No.
I don't know. Yeah.
It was so confusing when I saw that. And I don't know. It's just, and they need to leave the Big 12. I'm ready for them to leave already. The problem is nobody will want them. You think the Pac-12 is going to take them back? No
chance. Yeah.
Maybe the Mountain West would probably be like, open arms. We'll let you be Texas. You can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that you play all the scrubs every year and everybody treats you well. No, not in the Big 12. The Big 12 is a conference filled of teams that nobody wanted, and they all accepted. If we come together, we can have a fun, entertaining, and a competitive conference in all levels of all sports that fans who actually care about sports will be able to be entertained by every single weekend, every single week, every single season. If you don't want to be here, if you want to complain about it, get the
bleep out.
Yeah, get the bleep out.
Amen, Brock. Let them know.
I'm sorry. Iowa State fans, Kansas fans, K-State fans, Oklahoma State fans, Baylor fans, Texas Tech fans, you name it. Whoever was in the Big 12 when Oklahoma and Texas left, we were left to die.
Basically.
And the Pac-12, teams at Utah was like, oh yeah, we love seeing the demise of the Big 12. Well, you guys came to our conference because you realized that your conference was dying a lot quicker.
Yep.
Careful what you say about certain conferences or certain teams, because you never know who's going to end up being a conference that you are playing for or the teams that you're going to be playing in that said conference. And I don't think any team in the Big 12 likes this team or this athletic department.
No.
And that statement that was made after the game just made it a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I agree, right? Plus, kind of like going on the track of that too. I mean, like, look at how Oklahoma's doing this year in the SEC. Just absolutely awesome.
What you asked for.
I'm loving it, man. I'm absolutely loving it. These guys wanted to talk so much. I mean, I know obviously Texas gets most of the hate, but I mean, these guys think they're so much better than everyone else, just getting absolutely humbled this year. What did we say? There's like 8 SEC teams ranked in or whatever it was. And
Yep.
they're not even on there. So,
Nope. They're
yeah.
Nebraska.
Yep, exactly.
They're the Nebraska of the SEC.
Yeah, they are. So I will throw that in there as well. Just wanted to spread some OU hate. So,
yeah, I it's just that really struck a nerve with me for some reason. And I mean, I'm not the only person that was upset by the comments that was made by Utah's athletic director, but we'll just leave it at that. And we love that the fact that they are struggling this year, and hopefully it continues into basketball season as well.
Yes. Thank you, BYU.
That is one of the better NIL deals.
That's awesome.
Isn't he selling shirts that say that?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Which is impressive. We're talking
That's
about
awesome.
BYU's quarterback, who, one sec. Yeah, he even has it in his Instagram bio, hashtag
That's
BYU. Awesome. He's a Jewish quarterback for a historically known Mormon school in BYU. And he's been playing really well, undefeated, having a good season, looking like nothing's going to stop him unless they trip up in the last couple of weeks of the season.
Yep.
Let's switch over to basketball here. I know Chase wanted to talk a little bit about college hoops before we get into our games of the week. This is probably going to be a little bit of a quicker episode here, just because one, not a ton of storylines to really talk about in terms of all of college sports right now. And also your boy is running on E and is really sick and just needs to get a rest. So we'll go quickly. I'll let Chase really kind of just take this basketball segment as a whole. I know he's been watching a couple games here and there. He probably has some opinions. A couple games that I've watched, obviously you're probably going to mention it, the Auburn-Houston game. I watched that Kansas-North Carolina game on Friday. That was an electric game.
Great game.
I thought Kansas was just going to absolutely blow them out of the water, and then all of a sudden North Carolina was like, nah, not so fast. We're going to keep it a little close. And so that was a fun game. Obviously, I listened to the play-by-play from Sarah on Arkansas and Baylor. But Chase, what are your early reactions on the college basketball season? I know you mentioned before we started recording here on a Wednesday that you haven't gotten too deep into the mid-majors, but I know you've been paying a little bit of attention to the big names.
Yeah, I need to get going on that, man. I love watching the mid. I was telling Brock, I think my team might be High Point this year. Put some respect on High Point University, everyone. I'm not currently decided yet because I honestly, Brock, I might go back to the Lopes, man. I think they're gonna have a great.
Lopes.
My boy Tyon Grant Foster, I think, just got cleared. I saw so. I think they're gonna have another great year as well. And shout out them. I don't know if we mentioned it. Shout out them joining the Mountain West for basketball.
Oh yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
It has. So that is a big shout out to the Lopes, man. But yes, so I'll probably do some mid-major hoops in a couple episodes, maybe. I need to get my research done. But yes, opening night, dude, that was awesome, man. I think there was like 200 or so basketball games going on. Pretty much every team played. I'll probably just talk about like the big games. So obviously, I think we had Texas, Ohio State. I only got to watch the the first half of that game. But I don't know. I think Ohio State will be okay this year. I know they lost Zed Key to Dayton, so it'll be interesting to see like how their post position players are this year. Texas, I think they just got off their slow start. I think they'll still be fine. I'm obviously not a huge Texas fan. I'm not a huge fan of their coach. I think he's kind of overrated, TBH, but that's just my personal opinion. And then I don't know if Brock watched any of this one or probably not, but watched some of the highlights of that Gonzaga Baylor game that opening night.
I saw the poster.
That poster was filthy. Rip Mark Few's son, man. Rest in peace. But yeah, I think that game, I don't know if you got any thoughts on that, Brock. That final score was kind of surprising.
Is it just the same thing, different year for Gonzaga, though? I'm not going to read too deeply into it. Yep. I mean, if you put up 100 points against anybody, it's impressive. But 101-63 against a top 10 team in Baylor, or at least top 10 team at the time. They're ranked 12 in the recent AP poll. Gonzaga always feels like they are in the mix for a championship run. And it just seems like once tournament time comes around, it never pans out the way that it should. They've had some talented teams that I actually think should have won or at least competed for high-level championships, but unfortunately unable to get any so far. So I'm not going to read too deeply into that, but it is something to at least keep an eye on because that is a very impressive win. I will say that they only won by 8 against Arizona State their following game. So that's a big reason why I'm not reading too deeply into it because I don't think Arizona State is going to be necessarily amazing.
Yeah.
But,
that's a good point too, Brock. Yep. Plus, and I was obviously watching that game, but I don't know. I think with like mark few teams, obviously their offense is going to be great, but like you've got to find a way to get stops too, man. As the great
Lincoln
Riley. Yes. I was going to throw a White Weeks shout out on the podcast, but well, defense wins championships, but that works too. We can talk Lincoln Riley. But yeah, man, you can score as much points as you want, but you got to play defense as well, man. I don't know. Arizona State was just kind of getting whatever they wanted against Gonzaga too in that game. I didn't really get to watch much of that Baylor Gonzaga game because we should actually talk about why was that game at 10:30? That is atrocious. I wanted to throw that in there too.
Was it at Gonzaga?
No, it was in Vegas, I think.
Oh, then there's no excuse.
Like the people want to watch this game, dude. Why are we scheduling that 10:30 on a Monday night, man? Like really?
You want to really get into a soapbox about schedules and everything? Where the heck did my 24-hour of nothing but college basketball series go for the opening day of college basketball?
Yeah, that is a great point, Brock.
I want to see empty gyms at like 11 o'clock at night in the middle of freaking nowhere of like Western Kentucky Institute of the Arts versus like Cornell's Ivy League's JV roster. Like, where's that? Like, I miss those games. Give me the sicko games, the 24-hour, like, nothing but college basketball marathon that they used to do. Where's that?
I know. They've gone corporate, man. It's sad. But yeah, we were watching that IU Indiana game at work. I think yeah. Speaking of that, do you know Iowa State played them next game? This is just kind of random, but I saw that.
Yeah. I sent a text to Sarah asking if she wanted tickets to that game.
Yes.
And she's like, "Who are we playing?" Because it's a Monday.
And you said IUPUI.
And she's like, "That does me no good," because she doesn't know if teams are like really good or really bad. It's college basketball. There's a lot of teams versus college football. True. And I was like, well, this happened last time. And I sent her the photo of Jaren Holmes coming after me. And then the videos of Jaren Holmes kneeing me in the face.
Dude, shoot. I guess I didn't know this would get brought up. Otherwise, I'd have Brock get us the graphic.
Of the graphic of the photo and everything?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, here.
So anyway, I could talk for a little bit while you get that pulled up.
Yeah, I'll get it.
I need everyone to see this. Yeah, anywho, though, I'll just kind of fill some time here, but or how about I'll lead up to the moment. Brock will find it. But basically, Brock was working on Brock was like taking pictures, doing his thing on the sideline. Iowa State legend Jaren Holmes was coming for or he's chasing on a ball out of bounds, just making a basketball play. Sure enough, out of all the people, he comes right after my boy B-Rock over here, just right in his grill, right in his Caleb grill. And Brock has a great picture. I know there's a great video out there of it too. I don't know if Brock has it yet. He's probably. I could talk about Caleb Grill. Shout out, fire up the grill, 33 points last night for Mizzou. Or that was not last night. That was Monday. Apologies, but always love to see Cyclone Legends doing well.
I remember showing up to the game, and I don't think anyone knew that I was actually down there.
No, I had no idea
at that time. And usually someone will be like, "Oh, I see you on the court before the game or whatever." Because I mean, I got a big head and I'm balding. It's kind of hard to miss. But this happens, and I'm loading the video up on my laptop here shortly.
Very good.
Oh my gosh, why is it wanting to take forever? Okay. One sec here. Sending these over. But this game, I'm just doing my job, like you said. I'm just doing my job as a photographer, and I am just taking photos, having a good time. No one has sent me a text or anything, and then all of a sudden, this like very intense play just happens, and
boom.
Jaron Holmes comes after me and just knees me in the face.
But another traffic play down here by Iowa State.
Oh, man down.
And my phone proceeds to get lit up because everybody notices that it was me that gets kneed in the face by Jaron Holmes.
Right at you, Jaron Holmes.
Yeah, coming right at me is right.
Oh, hey, I didn't realize that's C-Dub right there too. No way.
And I tell you what, so that's a funny image there. Let me go to that last shot. So there's Chris Williams in the background. At that point, I was doing some Iowa Everywhere podcast for him for like 2 months. Never met the guy in person.
That's great.
And I didn't meet him then because then I think he like had stuff spilled on his laptop or something, so he left. It wasn't until like a couple months later when I finally met him in person. And I was like, oh my God, you were right behind me when I got kneed in the face by Jaron Holmes. But let me see if I can find, there's another shot from that was caught.
Oh yeah.
Where I'm just underneath Jaron Holmes after getting kneed in the face by him, but it was a great moment that I'll never forget, and I forgot that we're playing IUPUI. But I sent her the text of these two things and the photo that I got. I would pull up the photo, but StreamYard requires everything to be a PDF, so I don't have time to convert that over. But I did get the photo of Jaron Holmes coming at me, which is kind of funny. But I sent her that and the final score, and she went, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make the drive for that because,
wow, you know, unbelievable. It's all right.
Well, it's a Monday night.
That is true.
It's about an hour drive, half hour to an hour, depending on
that's
traffic.
True.
So
sorry, Sarah, I didn't mean it.
But no, it was something I will never forget for sure.
It's a great night.
I'm gonna have some PTSD on next Monday for sure.
Yeah, you are. I'll bring it up.
Getting back to basketball though,
where were we at?
I know you probably wanted to talk a little bit about Auburn and their situation.
Yeah, we can. Well, yeah, okay. So this was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. What would have been? So last Friday night, see a bunch of tweets and by my boy Jeff Goodman. He's kind of a character. But he's good stuff though. He's an interesting guy. Anywho, tweets out basically, I guess Auburn took off on their flight. This is for people who haven't heard the news yet, but Auburn took off on their flight to Houston because they're playing in Houston and like the Rockets arena or whatever. Basically, I don't know if it was like halfway through there or what, but I think it was two freshmen basically just started like a fight or like about to start a fight on the plane. So the pilot literally, and like, you know how like people are dads are like, I'll turn this van or I'll pull this van off like beside the road right now if you guys don't knock it off. Like the pilot literally turned the plane around. They flew back to Auburn and dropped off the two freshmen and then just went back to Houston. They didn't even bring them with. I don't know if I ever heard a story like this before. Just crazy stuff.
Did you just say, I'll turn this thing around?
I'll turn this. Yes. Like I was trying to be like a middle-aged dad. Yeah.
When that tweet came out, I was with Sarah and her sister, and we literally said that word for word. We were like, that's literally like them saying, I will turn this thing around and we will go home. And that's literally what they did. It's so funny that you should mention that.
Well, it is what the pilot actually did. He wasn't messing around. So anywho, that happened. They actually go on to beat Houston. That was honestly probably the game of the year, in my opinion. There's been a lot of good games.
Iowa State and Houston play each other.
Iowa State and Houston play, yes. Just a brawl out there, man. I mean, looked like Woodstock '99. It was phenomenal, man. It was art. Anywho, the Auburn comes.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. No,
I was gonna say you're gonna see more physicalness and tough battles in this game, Auburn and Houston, versus what you're gonna see this Friday with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
That'll be on What Is Brock's watch list or whatever at the end of the show.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be watching that.
Yeah, he will be. But anywho, though, so Auburn comes out with the win, man, which I was actually surprised. I thought Houston was going to win this, so credit to Auburn. Anywho, though, I saw this on Twitter. Apparently, this is how they celebrated. So you can hit it, Brock. Just gotta wait. And they're flying the airplane.
I think they need to do this for
That
every
was
game now.
hilarious. I agree. They should do this every game now. That is, I mean, just imagine the freshmen who see this. Like, I just thought that was amazing, man. We need to show everyone this.
That's so awesome. And
Yeah,
I'm not an Auburn guy.
Yes. I'm not really a Bruce Pearl or Auburn guy, but that was great, man. That was kind of my, like, what is it? Scott Van Pelt's, like, best thing I saw today. That would be my version. So I wanted to include that. But
anything else from college basketball that you wanted to mention?
Yeah. I could probably talk for hours, dude. There's been so many good games, dude. But I will talk about maybe just a little bit. I don't know if you watched the Kentucky Duke game last night, Brock.
I did not. I saw that Cooper Flack had all of his turnovers at the last minute.
Yeah, he got a little dribble happy at the end. But dude, I kind of wanted to maybe touch on Kentucky for just like a minute or so. And I don't know. I've never like really been like a huge fan of Mark Pope, but I've never like really disliked the guy. But I really like what he's doing right now at Kentucky, just because like it feels like he's doing literally the opposite of what Calipari's done there. And I feel like it's probably pretty different for Kentucky fans right now, just having like an older roster basically and not having a bunch of freshmen out there. And I don't know. I feel like Calipari's starting to make the adjustment, but I don't know. It's just kind of funny to me because I feel like Duke is basically the last team to kind of keep doing this route where you just bring in stud freshmen and you're just playing a lot of freshmen in your lineup. Whereas like Calipari did, I think he's starting to make the adjustment. But then it's funny because he's playing Kentucky, who always did that. And now Kentucky's kind of taking the approach of like, we're just going to bring in transfers. And who knows like what Mark Pope will do in the future. But like it's just kind of the opposite of what Kentucky's been. And it's just kind of ironic that this kind of new wave of college hoops where the older and experienced teams are playing out better than Kentucky wins. So I don't know. I thought that was just kind of interesting how that game turned out. It was a great game too. If you hadn't watched it, I highly suggest watching the highlights. But
it's funny how the inexperience of Duke plagued them, which cost them the loss against an experienced Kentucky Wildcat team. And that's why it's something to keep an eye out for these Wildcats, that they have a little bit more college experience. And that's an interesting thing that you mentioned, though, about how this is different than a Calipari Kentucky Wildcat team. Who knows what a Calipari team would have been like in that situation? Would they have been able to pull that out, or would have it been Duke pulling that out?
Exactly.
Because it seems like Calipari with those young crews, ever since the era of the transfer portal became a thing, has always struggled in those close game situations.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it'll be fun watching Kentucky this year. I really like the roster that they put together. I'm not really a huge Kirk Carissa guy ever since I had Arizona win it all, and he decided to go non-existent. Never really liked the guy, but I do like the rest of their team, though. So it'll be fun to follow for sure.
You mentioned this before we started recording here. You're not high on UConn this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously UConn is always going to be great, man, with Dan Hurley as a coach. I think they're just in a tough spot right now. Like, I think they're still going to be great, but it's just so hard. They just have had so much turnover the past couple of years, man. I'm not really sold on like their post situation right now. Like having Cleanan, I think was huge. Having Sinogo the year before, I don't know. Maybe like Samuel Johnson will prove me wrong, but I'm not completely sold on their post situation yet. I think Caravan will do as much as he can to carry the team and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not really sold on their post. I think like those championship teams, man, they just have depth at every position, and I'm not sold on their posts yet. But I don't know. Maybe Dan Hurley will prove me wrong and get a three-peat. But I think they're a great team, man. But I think it's just gonna be tough for them this year.
It's tough to do a three-peat.
It really is, man. So much turnover, and he's done a great job. But yeah, I did forget about that, Brock. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else specifically around the college basketball world that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Let me see here.
I know we'll do a Feast Week special here in a couple weeks.
That will be freaking awesome. I probably don't at the moment because I could talk a lot about so much different stuff. But I'll probably keep it simple tonight. I know Brock's on his little flu game, so that's probably the big things that I kind of wanted to highlight. So
yeah. By the way, a good game between Alabama and Purdue coming this week on Friday, but you got to have Peacock, unfortunately, to be able to watch that game.
Shout out my coworker Chelsea. Put me on her Peacock, so I can actually watch now.
Pause. Sorry.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Sorry.
Bruh.
Sorry. I couldn't hold back. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
This will not be edited out, by the way.
No, and I feel bad. I've never. Sorry.
Brock has the humor of middle school boys, everyone.
Sorry.
Goodness.
Sorry, Chase's coworker. I didn't mean to.
Come on, man. Oh, that was good.
I mean, it's better than if I would have put you on my Peacock subscription.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry, dude.
It hurts to laugh.
We're never gonna grow up, man.
Great. That's great. All right, let's get into our games of the week before we wrap up here. The list of how many games we've predicted has gotten too long, so we just got the overall record of 36 and 18 for me and 35 and 19 for Chase. Games of the week this week. We start out with a big noon kickoff, number 17 Colorado versus Utah. A lot of these games, as you can tell, are going to have a lot of conference championship implications on the line, so that's why we've kind of focused more on that than just necessarily big matchups or something like that, which, I mean, these are big matchups, but you'll kind of see a trend here. Obviously, Colorado's fighting for a Big 12 championship appearance. I think if they win out, they're pretty much in, unless crazy tiebreakers come into play where Iowa State could sneak in. Utah obviously is looking to play spoiler. After what happened last week, we'll see who we got picked, but I have a feeling that neither of us are going to be even considering cheering for Utah, so we'll see. Number 21, South Carolina versus number 23, Missouri on the SEC network at 3:15. The Cox looking to continue kind of a very impressive season. They're so close from being a top 12, top 10 team, man.
They are.
It's crazy. Missouri still thinks they have a shot to make the playoffs. We'll see if their opinion changes after this weekend. Number 16, K-State over versus Arizona State at 6 o'clock on ESPN.
Oh, what's that mean?
Sorry. K-State obviously looking to still fight for the Big 12 championship appearance. They got to do a lot, and a lot of things need to happen as well outside of their control. Arizona State looking to continue playing spoiler like they've done a couple times this year, and we'll see what happens there. 6:30 on ABC, number 12, Georgia versus Tennessee, number 7. Huge playoff implications as well as SEC championship implications as well. And then number 6, BYU versus unranked Kansas at 9:15 on ESPN. BYU looking to continue their undefeated season. Kansas looking to use what they were able to do last week against Iowa State and produce another upset victory, this time on the road in Provo. So, Chase, who you got for Colorado versus Utah?
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention this when we first started, but I don't know if you watched any of that Colorado Texas Tech game, Brock.
That was another game that Sarah kept me up to date on the way home.
Yeah, dude, like, and I'm not like a huge Texas Tech guy like you are. I think their fans are, but like I genuinely like you could actually tell like this game was like being screwed over for Colorado. Like you like genuinely could tell. There was one play I'll talk about just real quick here. Sorry, but it was I think a 4th down. And Texas Tech's quarterback just gets absolutely rocked, man. Like there was like a face mask on this play. Yes. He got face mask, probably roughing the passer. But anywho, the refs call targeting. And
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Most obvious face mask call I've ever seen in my life. But they call targeting so they can go and review it, and they literally reverse it. And there's nothing that like I've after that, dude. I was like, this is so rigged.
Texas Tech fans after the game.
This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in Big 12, but tonight I am not.
I'm not. Yes. Anywho, though, that I just forgot to throw that in earlier. That was crazy to me. So I think the refs will probably be on Colorado's side here as well again, especially after what Utah's AD said this past week. I think kind of like what Bragg mentioned too. I think they kind of want Colorado in the playoffs. So plus I think Colorado's just a better team. So anywho, Colorado.
How funny would it be if Utah like got the victory off of a terrible call or something like that within a week?
That would be very ironic. Would love to see that happen, but I'd highly doubt it.
As much as it pains me, Colorado's the better team, so I'm going Colorado as well.
Yep. Next game here. I think Missouri needs one more loss to get my under 9.5 that I've been talking about this whole year. And the Brock's Cocks are gonna freaking do it, baby. Give me the Gamecocks at home. Like Brock said, this is a good team, man. They literally could be top 12. Just have had a couple close losses, but I trust in the Cocks here at home. Get it done. My under 9.5 bet will cash. So we're going with the Cocks.
Cock Nation, baby.
Cock Nation, rise up. Let's go.
We love Cock Nation. It's so unfortunate that they didn't have like certain games like LSU go their way.
Yeah.
Because I think they're still technically in the playoff hunt, but no one's really going to even give them a consideration because of their 3 losses already. And we'll see if ESPN would consider a 3-loss South Carolina team if they were able to win out. A lot of things could happen in the last couple weeks that could shake up the SEC, so we'll see. But I'm going to go with Cox. You know, I always go with my Cox. That's just what it is. So give me South Carolina.
Well said. Next game, K-State, Arizona State. I don't really got a whole analysis for this one. I'm not sure if Scadaboo's playing for Arizona State. I think he's out, or he was out last week. So I think I'm just gonna go K-State here. It's kind of a must-win for them. So I think they're ready to go.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. K-State's going to pull out the victory because they know they need it. They need to win out to be even considered for a Big 12 championship appearance. And that game against Iowa State is vital for their future. I will feel more comfortable if K-State lost this week as an Iowa State fan heading into that final week. But at the same time, it's a rivalry game. So K-State with the victory against Arizona State, though.
Yep. Next game, Georgia, Tennessee. I don't really got a whole lot for this one either. I think Georgia's just going to be very upset, I will say, after their result last week. And they're just going to take it out on my Vols this week. I don't know. The Vols offense, man, is just not really speaking to me anymore this year. I think it just kind of fell off a little bit. So I think Georgia, they might cover that 10-point spread, which is kind of crazy to see.
Georgia's at home. That's pretty much all I got. Georgia's going to come out with the victory. Unfortunate for Tennessee. If it was in Tennessee, I actually think I would go Tennessee.
Yeah, that would be a good game for sure. I just realized this, Brock. And I'll wrap up on this BYU Kansas game because I'm going BYU. But we're going with all the home teams here. I did not even realize that.
Uh-oh.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Also wanted to say real quick, I was telling Brock, this is the craziest line I have ever seen in my life. How is BYU only a 2.5-point favorite versus Kansas? I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. Is someone hurt, or I don't know what's going on? I
Give
just
me
want
the
to.
Cougs.
Yeah, I guess I'm being a rat and I'm taking the Cougs. I've never seen anything like it. So, anywho.
I mean, we're basically taking the same exact picks again.
What could go wrong?
Watch us go 0-5. It wouldn't be the first time I've went 0-5 this year, so I'd welcome you to the 0-5 crew.
Hey, wait, have I been 0-5? I don't know.
I don't think
I feel like I've gotten close. Oh, no? Okay.
No, I have.
Dude.
Had some bad weeks, and I've had some really
You've
good.
had some good weeks, though.
I've had some undefeated weeks, so
You have.
But it's going to be great to see what these final records actually turn out. I'm not going to lie, we haven't done terrible this year. What was it? Neither of us are over 20 losses yet, which is pretty good.
It's pretty solid. Solid. Could be better, but pretty solid.
Yeah. What was it? We've predicted 54 games, and both of us are over 650. I'm assuming 600.
It's not bad.
So
not bad.
We'd make the Hall of Fame if we were coaches. 'Cause you got to be over 600. So.
Oh, is that actually like a rule? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think college football coaches, you have to have a winning percentage of over 600.
Oh, the more you know.
Mike Leach is not eligible.
That is actually stupid. What?
Yeah. His winning percentage is .596.
Can I get that changed, please?
One of the biggest innovators in college football, yeah.
But yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer, sure. Rip Mike Leach.
Mike Leach.
Yeah, rip,
That's
man.
one of the best games ever was that bowl game after he passed away. That was so fun.
That was crazy,
That was
dude.
so fun. I think I've never been so emotionally invested in a
That was crazy.
game in my life that I had teams I don't care about. It was so fun. The
The
chat,
craziest, yeah. The chat was going crazy. Craziest cover I've ever seen, man.
for sure.
Insane game.
Any final thoughts before we sign off here?
I don't think so. I don't think so, man. I'm just looking forward to Feast Week now.
We getting
So.
Trey Lance in?
That's enough.
No, honest question. You want to see Trey Lance actually get action?
No, I don't want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, Brock.
Sorry.
I want to talk about college basketball and football.
You want to talk about how Bronny's only playing home games in the G League?
I would rather actually talk about that than the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, we'll probably talk about that next week on the Hardwood Convo.
On the Hardwood Combos, yeah, everyone can tune into that.
Make sure to tune into all of our other podcasts, the Hardwood Convos, where we talk about the NBA with Chase, myself, Hunter, and Dawson, and then the Sports Nerds podcast with Dawson and myself. We might have some news with the Sports Nerds coming out in a couple weeks. Nothing huge changing, just making some adjustments to our show, but still going to be talking, NFL football.
Talking ball, yeah.
By the way, the show will be out by then. I'll show you what I did. So we do power rankings every week for our show. You want to see my power rankings for this week? Arizona number 5,
Cardinals.
baby.
All right, no bias at all?
I think Arizona's playing some of the best football right now in the NFL.
In college football?
In college football. You look at their last 3 home games. Dawson pulled out this stat. They've given up 0 touchdowns in the last 3 home games.
Dang, really?
All field goals.
Yeah, they have been playing well though, Brock. I will put some respect on their name.
Just when you thought I had no hope.
Yeah, I know. I like that though, dude. Wait, so you said Dawson hasn't seen that?
No, Dawson has. This show will be aired by after the Sports Nerds. The Sports Nerds aired on Thursday. This show, if you're watching this live, is on Friday. He has Kansas City at number 1. I put Detroit at number 1. Even though they almost had a terrible game against the Texans, they were able to come out with a victory. And I think throwing 5 picks and still winning is more impressive than blocking a field goal.
That is very crazy. Yep, I would agree.
So, yeah, that's it for this week for us. For Chase Winterbore, I'm Brock Bierman. Again, make sure to tune in and listen to all of our podcasts here on the 515 Podcast Network. We'll be back next week with some more content here on the 515 Podcast Network. Any suggestions, comments you have, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever you need to do to help support us, maybe help grow this a little bit. But again, for Chase Winterbore, I'm Brock Bierman. We'll be watching that Alabama-Purdue game on the Peacock for sure. But yeah, we'll see you all next week.